dosa, which is also called as pancake, made up of fermented rice. So here I am using everyday cooking rice. So this will be 3 cups. 1, 2. And this is called Urad Dal. It's also called as black gram. This is for, I think we should use it for 3/4 of this cup. 3/4. This is fenugreek seeds. Use it 1 tablespoon. And water. To soak for maybe 5 hours, and then after that you can grind it to a fine paste.
Okay, so earlier on Suanna showed us what ingredients to put into the bowl to soak to make the batter for the dosas. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to grind those ingredients up and also add one other ingredient into the mixture, which is some cooked rice which is left over from dinner. Now you just put a little bit of that in, and what that does is it helps when you cook to keep the dosas soft. Now we're only adding it in a small amount at a time, because if you add it in first it gums up the blades of the blender and everything. So we put the mixture in first, and then we're going to probably add a little water just to bring the consistency up to where we want it. There's a little bit of a sad story actually involving Suanna, because after she did the ingredients this morning, she actually got banished from the village by her family for giving away the family secrets on how to make dosas. And yeah, it was a little bit sad hearing her pleading voice, because she was saying she'd only done it in order to raise donations for feeding the stray dogs. But anyway, she's gone now. So I'm getting some help this evening from her twin sister, who's actually called Suanna as well, which is quite handy, so I can remember her name. So as you saw there, she's put the mixture into the grinder. I'm going to give that a little whiz round, and then we'll show you the consistency when it's finished. Okay, so it's been grinding for about a minute or a minute and a half, and if you look at this consistency, it's sort of reasonably smooth and thin, but not too. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the rest of the mixture. We've already done some earlier on, and once it's all done we're going to cover it up and we're going to leave it overnight to ferment, which gives it that nice fermented taste when we make the dosas tomorrow. So we'll be back to you tomorrow and we'll show you how we're going to cook them. Today we're going to show you how to actually make the dosas. Yesterday we showed you how to put the ingredients together and grind the batter, and overnight it's been fermenting, so it's become, as you can see there, it's all come together and it's a nice pouring consistency. So Suanna's actually going to do the dosa making. Obviously it'd be better if I did them, but I'm going to let her have a go because, you know, she likes to get involved in everything. So I'm going to film her doing them, and yes, so anyway, let's just get started. Okay, so first Suanna's putting a small amount of oil on the tower. It won't need to be done every time because some of the oil will obviously stay once we've cooked, but it just stops them sticking, makes the job a little bit easier. Now this part's crucial. It looks very easy but actually very difficult, and I'm not actually very good at it at all, which is why Suanna's doing it. Mine usually have holes in and everything, but she's been doing it since she was about 5 months old, so that's why they'll look a lot better than mine.
So if you all want crispy dosa, then you can pour a little bit of oil on that. But if you want the healthiest dosa, then without oil you can do it. And if you want soft also, then you don't have to apply oil for that dosa.
So so what we'll do now is we'll make one of each. So we'll make a crispy one and we'll also make a soft one so you can see the difference in the process. Not sure which one of the two this is, Suanna.
This is the crispy one.
This is going to be the crispy one. So after this we'll do a soft one. Quite often you'd eat these with a sort of potato accompaniment, sort of a chili spice potato accompaniment. We haven't got time this morning to do it because I haven't had time to go out and buy potatoes. So we'll do that in the next video should you want to do it. We're actually just going to eat it with some salad and some homemade hummus. But anyway, it's up to you what you eat them with. Okay, so this dosa is almost ready. You can see that it's getting crisp and brown in the middle. Swan's just releasing it from the tower. It's a nice size, this one actually. I'm not very good at making them as big as that, but she's done well there, not bad for her. Now, what I didn't mention to you beforehand is when you put the tower on the gas, to start with, put it on full, get the tower hot. Once it starts steaming and things, then you turn it down to medium. Now, some people will put splashes of water on the tower in between doses just to bring the heat down a tiny bit in between to keep it as constant. Swanna doesn't need to do that because she's been doing it for years and she knows what she's doing apparently, but I'm not totally convinced. Anyway, so this is a finished dosa. She's just doing the edges now. It's not actually as good to do it on the gas as it is to do it on the fire. I will show you them on the fire later, how they cook better, because the gas tends to heat in one place, whereas the fire, because they're good at managing it, it heats the tower up evenly all over, so you get a nice crispy dosa. But anyway, here you go. There's a lovely finished dosa. Right, so now what we're going to do, just to show you, is we're going to make a softer dosa. So,
with no oil.
With no oil at all. And quite often people will make these because they're easy to eat with. You can break bits off, you can pick your food up with them and use them. Because people don't always use cutlery, a lot of people eat with their hands, and this makes it a lot easier because it's softer. Obviously the crisp ones are more likely to break and harder to pick things up and so forth. Quite often you'll wrap your filling in the crispy dosa.
That's called Masala Dosa.
Which is called a Masala Dosa. So you put like a potato with chilies and
some
various spices.
Spice powder.
Yeah, and spice powder inside the dosa itself and roll it up. But we're not going to do that today. So anyway, I'll get back to you when this is finished. Right, so this is a softer dosa, I was telling you about before, and you have to remove them relatively quickly so they don't go too crispy.
Like 1 or 2 minutes.
1 or 2 minutes only. Bear in mind, if you were feeding a lot of people, you'd be making sort of quite a few of these, so you've got to keep it going, which is why I think some people lower the temperature of the tower in between, just with a few spots of water. But yes, Suanna doesn't need to do that because she's an expert. Right, so this is the difference between the two. You can see the colour slightly more on the crispy one. You can see how sort of slightly rigid, and the soft one is very pliable still. So they're quite similar, and there's not much in time. So it's all down to experience, knowing when to stop and when to remove them and so forth.
ಹ್ಯಾಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ